Well, there's something happening in St. John. I would definitely say it's the resurgence of the leader, Anthony Anderson. I touched on his basketball pedigree last week. He exploded for a monster game versus the Orangeville A's in a 147-102 victory. Then he ripped them for 51 points, going 14 for 22 from the field, 9 for 15 from downtown, and 14 for 16 from the free throw line. That is a monster game from AA. Now, if you combine that with the MVP candidate numbers from Gabe Freeman and very productive offensive numbers from Doug Herring Jr., you have a lethal offensive attack. And oh yeah, they can defend as well. The league's best rim protector, Anthony Stover, he mines the painted area. He will be in the conversation for sure for the Defensive Player of the Year. So in saying that, we are now seeing the vision of the Mill Rats president, Ian McCarthy, and head coach Rob Spahn putting the pieces together now with a healthy, energized Anthony Anderson. The sky's the limit for the Mill Rats. So what can you say about the first two games for Coach Paul McKeskey? If there's a phrase that would best describe the coach's start, it would definitely be the immortal Raider Nation and National Football League's architect, the late, great Al Davis, saying, "Just win, baby, just win." And that he did, with his first W coming on the road, beating the Atlantic Division leaders, the Halifax Hurricanes. The first-year coach got a tremendous shooting performance from Dexter Strickland, who shot the lights out 6 for 11 from the field and 3 for 4 from distance beyond the arc, finishing a stellar night with 23 points. In his home debut, it was all miracles all the time, and they convincingly defeated the Orangeville A's 114-85, with shooting guard Brandon Kearney leading the way with some very hot shooting, going 9 for 11 from the field and going perfect from beyond the arc, knocking down 5 triples, finishing the night with 23 points. Personally, I would say it was a very impressive and no doubt positive response from his team to the coaching change. Personally, I would have to say look out. If they continue to play the way they did the past two games, they could possibly shock someone in the divisional playoff round. And that wouldn't be a surprise with their balanced attack. Now, last week we talked about what makes the Halifax Hurricanes consistent. I stated that the inside and outside play has kept them at the top of the Atlantic and League Division standings. This past week was no different, in particular with the dominating inside performance from power forward Mike Glover. The Beast was simply unstoppable versus the Island Storm, posting game final numbers with 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks. A pulverizing performance that saw him finish through contact at the rim using both hands, shooting 12 for 13 from the field, 7 for 9 from the charity stripe. Mike Glover's consistent numbers on a nightly basis are turning the whispers of MVP candidate to frontrunner around the league. A game changer not only in the reserve role, but as a starter as well, giving Coach Hugo Lopez another thing for coaches to think about when game planning for the Canes. I would definitely say the week for the Island Storm started off with a bang. In a 48-minute dismantling of the Orangeville A's was just what the Storm faithful needed in a holiday matinee at the Eastlink Center. However, the celebration was short-lived after getting notice from the league's commissioner's office that a one-game suspension for a compilation of technical and unsportsmanlike fouls would be handed down to the 6'10" starting center Nick Evans, not the news coach Joe Salerno needed in preparation to solving the division's juggernaut, the Halifax Hurricanes. Without Evans' inside defensive presence, it was a monumental task to ask for power forwards Tyrell Baines, Brian Addison, and Robert Nortman to contain the unmovable inside forces of the Halifax Hurricanes that combined for 54 points, 16 rebounds, in a 107-99 defeat. I truly believe there are better days ahead for the Island Storm as they prepare for a home tilt versus the surging Moncton Miracles. With more than a week for preparation for their next game, don't be surprised if there will be more changes to come for Coach Salerno's roster. So without saying, this week was set up for some interesting games in the week ahead. The division leaders Halifax Hurricanes welcome the struggling Central Division Niagara River Lions and hitting the road to take on the divisional nemesis, the St. John Mill Rats. The Moncton Miracles will get back to work on Thursday in back-to-back home games versus the St. John Mill Rats, and they welcome in the Niagara River Lions to the Moncton Coliseum before finishing the week on the road versus the aforementioned the Island Storm. Rounding out the divisional play, the St. John Mill Rats will try to keep pace with the Halifax Hurricanes with the Clash of the Titans at the Harbor Station after they meet up with the provincial rival Moncton Miracles. And that was a look at the week that was in the Atlantic Division.